There we go. A statement that I had shared with you some time ago. And this comes from me reflecting on my 13 years of selling homes. And also taking a deeper dive on the 6 years I've spent leading brokerages, which really means I have an opportunity to connect with each and every one of you, help you go through this, which is really cool. Right? It's like I get to live through real estate vicariously, while I also get to actively participate in it. And if you were to ask me, why do buyers buy and why do sellers sell? The answer is life. Life will move real estate. Life always moves real estate. It's a 6 3/4% interest. I don't want to sell my house at 3.5% and buy at 7% until I have to. Until life says, watch this, you got to do it anyways, right? There's been marriages and the reason why people bought homes, and the reason why people sold homes, births, which is why people buy a bigger home. So life moves real estate. So I wanted to take a few minutes to encourage you to become a life broker. You're a broker of life. Okay? You're not just moving sticks and bricks. I know you build them, and that's cool. However, there's a reason why you're building them. We're going to talk about that for a second. I wanted to give you a couple of things that are really just talking points, me going through my journal and pulling a couple of things out and sharing with you these ahas. You can outgrow someone without hating them. You outgrow someone without hating them. Think of your clients. Think of the situations that in life that they may be experiencing. You got a guy right now, buyer client, reached out to me last week and said, I have to put everything on the shelf and I have to find a rental. What's up? And he said, some sad thing in life. It's a kind of entertainment separation from the law. And I just spoke loud. And you know what? I've been there. Let me know if you ever need a shoulder, because I got two. And they work. This one kind of got hurt, toxic areas. So we're good. You can outgrow a place without deeming it uninhabitable. How many of you currently reside in the town that you're born in? 2. Survey says most of you aren't, which is also true out there. And it's funny how, like, I was born in Virginia, grew up in North Carolina, and people are like, why do you live in North Carolina? And there were big times I'm like, oh, it's too busy, too many snakes, right? And then I'm like, why do I immediately run to hate about something that I changed? So take note. Why do we villainize the past? Why do we villainize the past? Why do we villainize past jobs? Why do we villainize past relationships? How many of you, don't raise your hand, have said, oh, my ex is a... All right. How many of us have done that? This is life, by the way. We're just speaking life. Okay, it's okay to be human. Why do we villainize past locations? North Carolina's garbage, right? That last brokerage, garbage, right? All that stuff. Why do we villainize that? Because it's easier. It's easier. It's easier to move on when we make villains of these past choices, so we don't have to own them. However, that only, here's the aha, that only keeps a part of us stuck there. It's better to just own it. It's better to just say, you know what? That was a mistake. And I'm okay with that now. Better to just say, yeah, I was there. It didn't really work out for me. I moved on from that. Instead of villainizing it, because guess what will happen? We're just kind of keeping a foot over there forever. Don't do that to yourself. And don't allow others to do that. Growth requires us to surrender to the understanding that people, places, circumstances, habits may no longer be for us. There's a time for everything, and sometimes that time is short, sometimes that time is long, and just because it concludes doesn't mean it's wrong. Okay? That's growth. There it is. Let's go back. Right versus wrong. Something can be right for you while wrong for someone else. A brokerage could be right for you while wrong for another person. Not one shoe fits all people. Okay? Something can be right for others while wrong for you. This is why we have so many lender friends. Right? That's why lenders have so many products. Not everybody is designed for the same size. And be willing to accept that. Be willing to accept that personally. Be willing to understand that for your people, especially in turmoil. This is a life moment for me. Zena and I got fired recently. You know this story. From a seller. that we've devoted a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of interest in. And we loved their story. We wanted to be the heroes in their story. We got fired.
Come on.
All right. Finally, you can become someone different without losing all of yourself. Check this out. I wrote down 2 analogies. Consider the bald eagle. Do you know bald eagles aren't born with white feathers? They achieve white feathers, so they grow into their baldness. They grow in. I like that. I'm such a bald eagle. It's just my freedom. Bald eagles grow into their majesty. Right? Butterflies. What does a butterfly begin as? Caterpillar. Complete transformation. And I bring you these 2 examples to suggest that sometimes there are complete transformations in life. However, many times there's not. It's just advancement. And you don't have to be someone, you can become someone different without losing all of yourself. You can just be proud of who you are and who you become. And stop being so upset about what you are in art. I'm becoming. That is a very powerful statement. I am becoming. True growth comes when you hear that voice within say, you've done what you came to do, you've learned what you needed to, you've met who you're supposed to, and you became who you were meant to. I'll let that marinate for a minute. That's actually true growth. Every chapter eventually ends, which is the next slide. Yeah, this is double great. True growth comes from when you hear that voice within say, I've learned what I came to. I've done what I came to. I've learned what I need to. I've met who I was supposed to. That's a big one. And I became who I have meant to. Every chapter eventually ends, which is necessary so that the character, this is cool, can continue to develop, the plot can thicken, so the story can continue. So, just because something might be included, and you now have this big, exciting new chapter in front of you. I mean, remember the day where you couldn't just fast forward on audiobooks? Like there was like 1.5x, it was actually a book. And as you were reading, you're like, oh, chapter 15, what's going to happen to the main character? More stuff. You had to turn the page in order for new things to take place. Be a life broker. And I gave you the acronym LIFE here. Listen to listen, not to respond. When you're listening to your people, listen to listen, not to respond. Use the 2-to-1 ratio. Listen, not to respond. Be intentional about all of that. Pursue fulfillment, not just completion. I'm going to aim in that one. Pursue fulfillment, not just completion. Sometimes you become fulfilled, even in incompletion. Sometimes it didn't need it in order for you to get what you need to grab out of it. I'm a distiller. I understand that there's loss, right? And yet we still gain. Engage with and on behalf of others. That's that empathy triangle that I don't have time to illustrate right now. However, if you are to become a life broker, you're going to listen, you're going to be intentional about it, you're going to pursue fulfillment, and you're going to seek to engage with others. That's all. I'd like to hear from you.